What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another Knicks episode on the Knicks Jet Etc. podcast. And not with me, as always, my buddy, my pal, Alex Trataros, the Tratacaster, got himself hitched this last weekend. And honestly, let me just start there. Absolutely beautiful wedding, beautiful ceremony, very tight knit, very familial based, also based around a lot of traditions. It was really beautiful, and it's just so funny. Just like Alex's writing, right? And his any content he puts out very pays a lot of attention to detail. Every single thing in this wedding, down to the names of the tables. Like there were teams of NBA teams. I was on the Bulls table because we had somebody from Chicago at the table. To his lovely wife Dominique giving him a little Knicks jab during the vows, like calling him loyal, and like a little Knicks jab in there, which was great. To getting married during the Jets bye week. I mean, the man definitely pays attention to detail. So congrats to Alex, congrats to Dominique, and thank you to Dominique for dealing with us all the time and lending Tritacaster to Knicks and Jets Nation. But speaking of Knicks Nation, man, we are here. Oh my goodness. Cardiac Knicks, cardiac Kemba, Knicks home opener, double overtime, first Boston. I mean, this game had absolutely everything. Shout out to Calandra's Bakery for hosting us in the loft for MSG. That was such a great time. If you've never been to the loft at MSG and you can get yourself there one day, do it. It's a unbelievable experience. Shout out to the workers there as well. Everyone was fantastic. But oh man, this game. Let's start from the beginning. Randle came out, because it was a home opener. Came to greet the fans. Started with the "we here." Oh man! As soon as he said that, okay. So something as Knicks fans, and I'm actually surprised that the media didn't really talk about this much going into this game. The Knicks had some demons to exercise. Okay, Game 5 last year in the Garden. if if you were there, like I was, or if you're listening to this podcast, meaning you're a Knicks fan, there's a pit in your stomach from Game 5, and being in that building. I mean, the preseason doesn't matter. We know Tibbs is like the John Harbaugh of basketball, where he's going all out in preseason. We love to see it, but the home opener, we needed to win this game, and especially the way the game progressed. If we would have lost this double overtime game coming off that game, oh man, coming off that Game 5, that loss, everything would have compiled together. It would have been an absolute disaster. But of course, it's not the case. I mean, it's unbelievable that our elation right now as New Yorkers, honestly, as New Yorkers, are the New York Knicks. It's really crazy that they are the bright spot. But I mean, we have to just get used to that now, because we here, and I think we here to stay. So this double overtime game, where to even start? Do we start with the ups and downs of the game that we should have closed off? But honestly, Kemba Walker, cardiac Kemba, but the opposite way, almost like reverse Reggie Millered us, and like we're up 8 points with like 6 seconds. What's happening right now? I have no idea how in the world we gave up that lead and ends up with a Marcus Smart. Oh, man, Marcus Smart 3-pointer just dagger in my face. I mean, what a start to the season. Let's just start with the 4 quarters first before we go into the hysteria of the double overtime. Because who knows what we just watched? I mean, I'm talking about cardiac Kemba, cardiac Knicks. It's cardiac John. I mean, this is a crazy game to start off the year, but I am definitely thankful for it and thankful for the way it ended. And also, I have to say, I am thankful for my man Tibbs. All we get all year long is Tibbs is going to ruin his players. Tibbs is going to play them too long. Tibbs is too mechanical. Tibbs is not going to find any room in in the rotation for, players who can play. I don't know, man. I really, the only gripe, and because there's so many good things to say, let me just start with this little tiny gripe. The only gripe I'll say is maybe D Rose should have played at the end. And there's this whole stigma with Knicks coaches, or not Knicks coaches, basketball coaches, that you can't sub out players in overtime. Or, if they're playing down the stretch, they have to finish the game because, they know how the tempo's going. They have a feel of the game. You can't come off cold off the bench, like Frank. So I get all that, but in double overtime, like, our players could sit. Okay, like it's fine. So that part, maybe D Rose could have came a little bit earlier to stabilize that. But other than that, man, maybe Fournier was getting a little tired out there, shooting a little bit. I mean, if he didn't redeem himself at the end there, even though he really was a catalyst in bringing us home in this game, if he didn't close out in that overtime, he was killing us with his shots, man. He was killing us out there. But it's easy to forget that when he closes us out and we win the game. But again, let's try to keep it to the four quarters for now. But even let's do the first half, dude. They came out gunning. Okay, like that 8-0, we're ready to go. Everybody's holding us down. MSG is going absolutely crazy. But there's little things in there that were starting to get to me. Obviously, RJ Barrett, 2 points in the first half. I mean, come on. That was tough. But if he's going to start every game with 2 points and then end with, what do you end with, 19 or so? I can't hate it. But, 54. If you just look at his stat sheet, 54%, 3 for 7 from 3, 42%. I mean, it's fine. No problem. +8, 2 blocks, 5 boards. What's the issue? But he's got to bring it back in the first half. But dude, how different does this team look with Mitchell Robinson? It's unbelievable that we can't. I mean, are we just gonna play musical chairs with centers? It's fine as long as we have one healthy center in there. Shout out to Jericho Sims for getting his butt in the game. He didn't do much. Did he lead our team in the minus category? I think so. He's -7. I mean, what are you gonna do? He shouldn't be out there. We all know it, but he's gonna have to put in those minutes and just be a body. He's gonna have to be a body. But shout out to Mitchell Robinson, man. Minutes restrictions my butt. The guy played 35 minutes. What can you say, dude? 17 boards, 11 assists, double. Didn't miss again. The field goal champion, 5 for 5. I mean, that's what he's here for, man. Mitchell Robinson changes his team. However, they're not off the hook because I'm going to switch to the defense real quick. Dude, is Robert Williams Shaquille O'Neal? What am I missing here? The next coming of Kevin Garnett? He absolutely killed us. And it looks like, I mean, of course, it's just one game, but the team didn't change much, right? That's what we're preaching here. It looks like, again, we're going to have a little bit of trouble with the interior defense. I mean, Robert Williams can't kill us like this. But speaking of interior defense, shout out to Ennis Canner. Didn't play for a coach's decision. It's tough look out there. Tough look, Ennis. But dude, I mean, there's not much more we can say than we are so lucky to win this game because Jason Tatum was absolutely awful. I mean, as good as Jalen Brown was, Jason Tatum was awful. He could have put us away in this game 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 3-pointers. If one of them falls at any of those times, not only is there a swing in the points, obviously, but there's a huge swing in momentum. He could have absolutely killed us a couple of times in this game. So let's just start off with the offense. As Alex likes to go, offense, defense. What we liked. I like Julius Randle. Okay. I like Julius Randle. That's what I like. I like Julius Randle. He is unbelievable, dude. 35, 9, and 8 in double overtime. The guy looked like he was going to collapse on the floor. And it's so funny. You could literally tell when Julius Randle is going to get the ball. Like, you could tell when he wants it. I know people don't like saying it. Shout out to our boy Jeff Campbell. He's so mellow like, and the good mellow. When he just needs the ball, when he just takes you up on the baseline, puts his butt right in your chest and feels your whole body and gets the ball. Like, just get away from him. Get him, and at this point, guys, he deserves the respect for that ISO. Even if he misses the shot, it's a shot. It's just as the RJ Barrett corner threes. That's RJ Barrett's shot. RJ can go 0 for 37. I want him to take a 38 shot from the corner three because that's his shot. If Julius Randle wants the ball in crunch time, in ISO, when we can't get a bucket, if he's having a bad game, if he wants the ball on the baseline any single time, you have to give it to him. He honestly deserves that respect. It's his team. He's an all-star. And he's honestly like he's the best player on the team by a long shot. So I like Julius Randle. That's number one. And number two, Mitchell Robinson. He changed double coming off his first game. We're wondering if he's going to come back, if he's going to play this, that. Nerlens Noel's hurt. Taj Gibson. We want him to be there every single game, but it's really unrealistic. And then we have Jericho Sims in here. I mean, Mitchell Robinson, we're going to go as far as our centers can take us, and Mitch Robinson is going to be a huge catalyst there. And third, and I mean, I know Alex, you're listening. You know, I was going nuts here. I've been waiting to scream at everyone that's been trying to get at me. Obi Toppin is here, even though he like we're all excited about Obi Toppin. I'm honestly more excited that he actually made that jump and it wasn't just preseason, rather than to say I'm right. I'm happy that he actually fulfilled his role, because if he's putting it together everywhere, if he's putting it together, in spurts and in preseason and all this stuff and in practice, but he just can't get it together during the game, that starts to become a trend. But it's actually the opposite. He's Sean Marion. Okay, I can't unsee that. I keep calling him Amari Stoudemire from the Suns, but really, he's Sean Marion. His shot, it's just so short, and it's so quick, and you don't think it's ever gonna go in. I only want him shooting from the corner. Like, I don't want him pulling up from the top. And he flies, and he's a game changer. But is he the best defender? I don't think so. But it's almost like we're not asking him to do that. But I don't know, man. We have. This is a rapid reaction. We got to dive a little deeper into the analytics of it. But I know Randle and Obi were on the floor for a little bit, but is that sustainable? I mean, they made Robert and Grant Williams look like Tim Duncan and Dave Robinson a little bit today, so it's kind of tough. But speaking of absolute all-stars, Jalen Brown. What's happening? Jalen Brown today was Kobe Bryant. He was unbelievable. 16 for 30 from the field, 8 for 14. He did not miss a shot. Like, for the whole Celtics team didn't miss a shot for the first half. First quarter, they're around 70%, like 68 or something. Come on. I could see why people are upset that the Knicks might have diminished a little bit on defense. I get it. I think this is a one-time deal where somebody like Jalen Brown goes off for nearly 50. But at the same time, if you're gonna hate on the Knicks defense for Jalen Brown, you gotta love them then for Jason Tatum. I think they're somewhere in the middle of those things. I don't think we're gonna have Jason Tatum go 7 for 30 from the field and 2 for 15 from three. A little, that's a little ask a little too much. So I think the Knicks could be somewhere in the middle there. And we're going to have these games where we have to close. And we have all these predictions, preseason about, numerical wins. We have all these predictions about where the Knicks are going to be seated. It really comes down to consistency in number one, the last 8 minutes of the eighth of the second and the first 8 minutes of the third, which they killed it. That's number one. And number two is closing the game. And today they messed up on the second part, but they were able to hold it together. Evan Fournier, dude. Evan Fournier. Talk about, do we call him FIBA Fournier? Is it when he's doing well? Is he FIBA Fournier dropping 32 points in the Garden in his debut? I mean, all those shots he missed, 6 for 13 from three, 13 for 25 from field goal. What do you want? 6 boards, 4 steals, 3 assists on 32 points. I mean, Randle drops 35, Fournier drops 32. How are we losing games? We could have lost this one, though. I'm wondering how the guard lineup is going to change. It's interesting that Marcus Smart is hard to gauge because he's a point guard that's playing against Randle, and then they have Schroeder, who, it felt like he was killing us in the mid-range, but he was their worst player today. Minus 16, 1 for 4 from three, 5 for 16 from the field. He had a bad game, but he had some nice mid-range shots that were like small little daggers, but we were able to overcome them. But they're just a weird team to kind of gauge off the point guard situation. Maybe Kemba's a little nervous, first game home, Bronx versus revenge game. Like, that's a lot. Maybe that's something to do with it. Even veterans, but Fournier looked like a vet out there. So shout out to him. Shout out to Obi. Burks. This is what Burks is all about. That's the best way to put it. Burks is going to give you these games where you don't need him at all. 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 4 from three, 5 points. No problem. Didn't do anything. You didn't hear his name. You didn't even see him on the court. No problem. We got 2 games versus versus Orlando. Home and home. He's gonna come up big in one of those games, I promise you. That's what Alec Burks is all about. And it's funny. My first, mini gripe was Derrick Rose going in for Kemba Walker. Now look at me. Now I'm complaining about not enough Derrick Rose minutes. There's no pleasing me. Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, they're fine. The only person, and do I have to say I'm right? Do I have to say I'm right about Obi getting all these minutes and now IQ getting faded out? And everyone's screaming at me, yelling at me. I'm an idiot. I'm this. I'm that. I understand why it's hard to look forward for just 2 seconds sometimes. But there's a lot of guards in there, man. There's a lot of guards for IQ to get his rhythm in. Is he just going to come in there and pop 3-4 threes and leave? It would be sick if he would have hit those today. Like if he would have came in and went 2 for 3 like he usually does, and then he probably would have shot 2 more for a heat check, shoot 5, maybe did it for 5 from 3. The game, the doors could blow off the game, so I get it. But is he just going to be that spark off the bench? Where does he fit? And where does RJ fit? Where does RJ fit in between Kemba / Rose and Fournier and Randle? Like, can he get in there? Or is he going to be more productive starting, of course, starting, but with playing with the second unit. You know what I mean? Like staying on the court and having the second unit like being subbed in, or him coming in at the end of the second. I mean, he killed it in the third, so maybe that's his spot. I'm sure Tibbs is going to figure out the rotation, but I'm slightly worried about quickly. But guess what? After the game, about 15 minutes after the game, where I was still in the arena, like they didn't kick us out yet. The rookies are out shooting baseline 3-pointers. IQ is out there dribbling around, getting his work back in. I mean, these boys are hungry. And if you don't think Emmanuel quickly is looking forward to absolutely killing Orlando, you are joking yourself. You're joking yourself. These players are tired. I mean, even LeBron James, he tweeted that, oh, yeah, he always loves to tweet about the Garden because he secretly loves us. Kind of like Tom Brady secretly loves the Jets. He can't stop talking about us. Anyway, LeBron is mentioned at the end, like, these boys are gassed, and they are gassed. And, FIBA Fournier said it in the post game as well. They're tired. It was a long game. Julius Randle after the game, like going down, trying to catch a breath. Double overtime, your first game back is tough. Players like IQ that didn't really get in. Alec Burks. I'm gonna say Mitch Robinson. Is there a minutes restriction out here on Mitch? Should we be? I know that if tragedy were to strike in any, whether small or large with Mitch, we're going to blame the minutes and Tibbs right away. So I'm trying to get a little bit ahead of it and say, how would you want the Knicks to approach Mitch Robinson playing 35 minutes? We needed every single minute of it. We needed every single one of those 17 rebounds. Every single one. We honestly could have used 18 at some point. Those double chance opportunities were killing me. I was unhappy about those second chance opportunities, and they killed us. Second chance opportunities, getting killed in the paint, which kind of go hand in hand. And that's really it. I mean, the defense, we did give up some threes on some quick ball movement by Boston, but that's their game plan. That's what they do. We're going to succumb to that. Our defense in general will be better. I don't anticipate shootouts every night with the New York Knicks. And if that's the case, I think we can sustain it. If we want to have a shootout, I honestly do think we could shoot with the best of them, because even if it's not Randle, Kemba changes his team. Having that threat at point guard, I can't remember it. Like, it was only like these spurts with D Rose, but now it's the whole game. They have to respect our point guards, and it's obvious that it's making a difference. So, shout out to the guards, Kemba, Rose, and I know IQ didn't look good, but I'm still excited for them to hold it down. I mean, Fournier and Alec Burks, if they could just switch off every single week, one of them do well. If Kemba and D Rose and IQ, if two of those do decent every single game, if RJ could end the games like this, even if the crazy part is, I mean, it's not going to fix overnight. He might continue to have some slow games sometimes. If he could just end like this, I think that would be fine. I mean, it's not ideal, but I think he's only 21. I know we keep saying that. I think he's going to get his feet under his legs. I'm just so excited for Obi Toppin to continue to build. I'm excited for IQ to continue to be hungry. And everyone is established on this team right now. Even if I don't have to put out that energy, but even if we lost this game, I don't think it would have been disaster. It would have stunk. It would have been hard to swallow, especially because it's versus Boston. But we are riding on a high right now. The fact that Julius Randle is screaming, "Give me my respect" during this game, the fact that the Garden feels like it's, honestly, I wouldn't say game 2, but it had like comeback game 5 vibes. You know what I mean? It was loud in there. It was We had an Iggy Azalea halftime performance. I mean, the Garden, outside you can't move coming out. I mean, there is some construction, but we're all funneling out to the same. Cops outside just making sure everything's okay. People yelling everywhere as if we won the champion shit game. Like it's crazy. It's literally game one. So that's really the rapid reaction for this Knicks game. I'm excited for this Orlando series. A little bit of Fournier revenge games coming through. I hope he doesn't do too much. I'm a little nervous about that. I hope to see RJ start off a little bit quicker. I hope that IQ is able to. I hope IQ is able to get established. Him and Burks. If they can both do that, I think we could split. But I'm gonna say this. One time. Every single time you wanted the Knicks to split last year, they won both games. Every single time. You said, "Oh, this is a classic home and away split. Oh, they're versus the same team. Probably gonna split with them." They swept them. Tibbs has his team ready. I'm gonna say before other teams do. They take every single game seriously. If you want to call him the Peyton Manning of basketball, that's fine. You want to call him the John Harbaugh, for a coaching reference, that's fine too. It was an unbelievable game. They had us on our toes the entire game. The entire Garden's freaking out. Smart almost killed us. We had that Trae Young feeling for a second, even though it wasn't playoffs. It hurt. That hurt, man. So shout out to you, Marcus Smart. That was a sick shot. He's a pest, man. Having a point guard that can guard Julius Randle is pretty awesome to have. But that's enough compliments on the Celtics. I'll just throw out Alex's second half notes that you could always catch on Twitter at Tratacaster101. He's always tweeting through the games, and he always likes to put out his first half and second half notes, which are always nice. So his second half notes, major shots by Fournier and Randle down the stretch. Of course, they dominated in the paint with 60. He doesn't like the Randle ISO plays down in the fourth, but in my opinion, they were necessary. I think he only did them when we needed him to be honest with you. And without him, that's the exact Knicks where we just like hold the ball and get shot clock violation off the turnover and in all these Knicks ways. RJ and Obi had major second halves. Yeah. So the only thing I didn't mention is I wonder if Obi is going to be able to be a force on the road. He's definitely going to be a home. Is he? I don't even know if he's a microwave. I guess he is going to spark the home crowd every single time he touches the ball. There's electricity in the crowd, literally. And if he dunks it, if he slams it in, like he dunks it in, and RJ brings it down, like the Garden goes nuts. Like that Kermit, gif, like of him freak. That's me. That's the entire Garden every single time. Obi slams it down, and so he's going to be a force to reckon with at home for sure. And then he mentioned IQ couldn't find the balance of a facilitator / scorer tonight. Again, I feel like IQ is in a little bit of purgatory, but he's going to be necessary, man. We all know about the health situation of Kemba and Rose. We don't expect, especially if we have double overtime, crazy games like this, we don't expect them to, be there every single game, let's say. Just call it how it is. So IQ is going to get his time. He just has to be ready. And by the looks of it, he's hungry. He's coming out after the game. He's saying all the right things. Everybody loves him on the team. We all believe in him. He hits 2 of those threes. We're speaking a different tone about IQ. So everybody else, I am hyped about this Knicks team. 1 game down, 81 to go. 49 more wins to hit that 50 burger. Let's go. But as always, guys, you know what to do. Please like, subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple. We're on every single podcast network, Spotify, Apple, you name it, we are there. Right, Alex? but please, like it means a lot to us if you were to leave a 5-star review for us. We'll even read it out loud. Shout out to Patrick Allen, who gave us that idea. I mean, we're here for you. Knicks rapid reaction. It's gonna be a long, long, long season. Man, I don't know. I'm so happy that the Knicks are providing this this elation to us as New Yorkers, as Knicks fans. But there's hope, man. This hope that they give us. This is what's dangerous. But I digress. I digress. Let's see. Let's bring it down versus Orlando. Terrence Ross is out there. Always got to worry about that guy. And then Pistons, a little bit of Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart action. Should be fun out there. Should be fun. All right, guys. Let's go Knicks.